Hi, this is John Lockwood for John Next Door, and this video tutorial is all about using the brand new Faceted Cracker die from the John Next Door brand. And we're going to be using the die here to show you quite simply how to make the Faceted Cracker and the box that we can make using exactly the same die. Now the Faceted Cracker was designed to give you, just like this, a beautiful cracker that looks as if it's made entirely of almost diamonds or triangles. But the design has been made so that the strength is in the design and not the paper. So here I have it done in glitter card at 300 GSM. Here it's in some mirror card at 250 GSM. Here it's in a fancy paper, and again this is probably about 200. Here we've got it in a 150 GSM paper. So as you can see, it's designed to work and keep its strength in whatever paper or card you want to make it from. But you can also use exactly the same die to make the pillow box or the faceted pillow box. So this gives you more of a masculine pillow box, and it still pops open to pop your present inside and closes on both ends. And as opposed to a standard pillow box, this is a little bit more angular and almost a little bit more exciting. Here I've used some of the new star flowers on it on some ombre paper. So that's what we're going to do today. I'll just bring in the die, and this is the Faceted Cracker die. As you can see, it's nearly the size of an A4 piece of card or paper, so you will need one of the large die cutting machines to fit this. And what I'm going to do, I'll start it cutting, and I'm going to use a piece of non-shed glitter card for this. So this is again 300 GSM card, and all I have to do is fit the die onto the card. I'm just going to tape it down to stop it moving, and then I'll simply run that through my die cutting machine. And as I said, this will fit through any of the standard A4 die cutting machines that you may have. Now for speed, I've already cut one out, but hopefully you can see here that you've got all of the lines automatically emboss and deboss into it. You don't need to emboss this die. It will just put the lines in automatically when you cut, because they've been made a little deeper. So all we need to do is to do the folds. So we fold it on its back. I'm going to fold up, in and up and over. So if you can see there, just fold those two bits in. Exactly the same on the other side. Very easy to fold. You don't need a bone folder or any other tool. And when you've got it shaped like that, you know you've made most of the major folds. All we then need to do is fold each of the 4 flaps that will attach it, and then simply go around and put a little bit of a fold into all of the facets. So all I'm doing here is just putting a little fold in, and this will give you the circular shape really easily with no other work needed. So I've got those in, just going to fold on the top section. So we now need to adhere it, and what I would suggest when we're trying to glue this down is to use some strong double-sided adhesive tape. I'm going to use redline tape as it's the strongest I've found. I wouldn't use a standard tape, and we're just going to tape it on the front. So there's nothing on the back, just on the front. So we just go along and we tape all 4 of these flaps. Again, you can use a wet glue, but you'll find if you use a wet glue, you will have to clamp it in place and peg it for the glue to go off. So it's a lot easier using the tape. Don't use one of the tape runners. The adhesive on those just isn't strong enough. So obviously these are going to be under tension. So I've got that tape down quite simply. All I need to do then is to take off the red line, or take off the protective sheet, which is always the interesting bit. So we'll take that off the 4 sections quite simply. There you go, 1, 2, 3, and let's bring number 4 in and get that off. There we go. And we're going to start at the top here, and you've got 1 extra triangle. So I'm just going to bend that back, and the reason is I'm going to marry those 2 together, and it makes it a lot easier for a start with the extra triangle. But what you can do if you want to put a cracker snap in, you can glue it into there and seal it closed and run it in the rest of the cracker so that it doesn't fall out. If you don't want to do that and you don't want to glue that section down, you can just chop that little triangle off. Then all we do is I marry up the next section quite simply, just like that, and put something like your pokey tool or a pair of scissors inside to give you something to press against. You can fold it. I'm going to glue the next section. So you see there, they've popped out a little bit. Always difficult when you're doing a video, always seems to go wrong on me. So just again, pop my pokey tool in, give that a good press, and I'll give it a good press there as well. And finally, going to attach that side. And as you can see there, we've already formed the main part of the faceted cracker. So all I do, just to decorate very quickly, I'm just going to take a couple of pieces of tartan ribbon and tie them around to seal the edges. So you can do this using either a piece of ribbon, a piece of twine, a piece of wire, or one of those closures with the little sort of Christmas sort of bauble things on the end. Anything you can see there. We'll just trim that down neatly. So anything that will just give it a little bit of security. Take it round, we'll do the other side. And you don't have to worry, there's no right and wrong side to this cracker. Because of the way that it works, it's very hard to see the seam, and I'll show you that in a second. So we'll just again pull those down, get that bow nice and neat, and just trim off the excess there. Sweep those out, but if you can see there, so there's my titular front, but if we look around, once it's fixed, it's very hard to see where the seam is. And you can decorate in any way you want to, with flowers, with anything. Again, this one, I've used a little spray of mistletoe and some sort of Christmas balls. The map one has Bon Voyage on it. Again, some mistletoe, a ribbon bow. That's got the metal twists around. So loads of different ways you can decorate this. The video is just about showing you how to put it together. So that's how we do the cracker itself. Now we need to do the box. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take another piece of the glitter card. So I've got a piece here with a scrap out, and I just want to cut it in half. And what we're going to do, I'm going to take the die. So I'm going to take my die off. You can see here how well it cuts from the first pass. So we'll take that out. So that would be the first piece. Pop these little triangles out. You can obviously use those in your card making projects or put them together as a flower. And what I want to do is just cut this middle section of the die for the box. So that's why I cut the card in half into two pieces of A4, so that I can just get that middle section. If I don't, then I would do it twice and waste too much. So we'll just do that, and then I will run that through and cut it. Now, I've already prepared this, so while that's running I can show you. I've got here two pieces. So, here's one piece, and this is what's come out when I've cut the piece. Yeah, and all I'm going to do is, on one side, I want to leave the flaps, or the little tabs here. At the top where the flaps are, I want to cut those off. And on the other side, I want to take all of the flaps off, basically leaving me this shape. And I need that twice. So I cut two of those shapes, very simply, just like that. Okay. Once again, now I'm going to fold it. So I need to fold each of the flaps, fold in the center, and fold down the two pieces at the end to give you your little pop-in section. You can see there it's already starting to look like the box. So again, fold in the middle, fold each of those two pieces down, just like that. There we go. And again, make sure the flaps are folded in. And there I've got my pieces folded. So now I simply take, again, redline tape and run that along the inside section. on both pieces. So this is on the flat section that doesn't have the flaps on it. So we're just going to cut that off. And once again, take off the protective sheet from the redline tape on both pieces at the same time. You don't want to be faffing halfway through trying to take tape off. Okay. What we're going to do, I'm going to fold the flaps in. So they're folded in. I'm going to marry up the two shapes and press, so you can see there I've the double piece. So you could make this technically bigger. And then I'm just going to fold those flaps down and tape those into place there. So I've got that completely fixed on all sides. Pop it open and pop your two folded pieces down. And that is your box done. Very simple, very easy, but just using one A4 piece of card, and it looks very different. So we've actually got the cracker and the box, and each one only takes an A4 piece and leaves some extra spare. For more ideas, hints, tips and inspiration, please visit the John Next Door Facebook page, or why not join the Crafting with John Next Door Facebook group for lots of ideas and inspiration from loads of lovely crafters.